John Kirby, I want to get your reaction, the administration's reaction to President Raisi saying that the Iranians will spend the $6 billion, quote, wherever we need it.
No, that's not true. The system is set up such that this money, these funds, can only be parceled out for humanitarian purposes, food, medicine, construction of medical facilities or even educational purposes, but that each and every withdrawal is going to go through a series of checks and balances, checks by the Treasury Department, checks by the Qatari National Bank, and quite frankly, there'll be a check on what they can withdraw based on aid organizations and whatever companies need to be contracted to help deliver these goods or these resources into Iran. So everything will be parceled out based on need. We will have visibility and oversight over each of those withdrawal requests, and if we don't approve it, it won't get approved for delivery to Iran. So this is not a blank check for them. It is very much going to be monitored, and there will be quite a bit of oversight before any dollars, and not dollars, any money can be spent.
Why do you think that President Raisi was basically pushing back when Lester was asking him follow-up questions on that very thing, on any concession that they have to give up the right to spend the money any way they want to?
Difficult to know what was in his head when he was talking to Lester. I mean, I heard the speculation before I came on with you that it might be that he was playing to his domestic audience there in Iran. That's a perfectly plausible explanation. But the parameters of this arrangement, Andrea, are very clear, very concise, and the Iranians have signed up to this, so there should be no doubt in anybody's mind how this is going to work. And again, I think it's important to remember this is not U.S. taxpayer dollars. This is not ransom. These were Iranian funds that had been frozen in a South Korean account that they did not have access to. All we're simply doing is moving this money to Qatar, to Qatari National Bank, so that it can be accessible to them for, again, very discrete, targeted purposes.
Now, the National Security Council, with which you work, put out a statement saying that there would be no Americans returned this week. How are you defining that? Do you mean not before Sunday or Monday? Or are we talking 7 days going forward? Because there was some hope that since President Raisi is coming to New York next week, he'll be in New York Monday. Yeah. He's giving a speech on Tuesday that he might have the Americans released from house arrest. They're out of prison, but from house arrest, able to cross out of Iran, come home, be reunited with their families, finally, after years and years, and do that as a gesture on the stage at the UN, when he's on the world stage.
Yeah, look, I wish I could be more specific with you, but I just simply can't. We don't have that all locked in right now, and we're still in the midst of this arrangement. So we're going to be very careful about being too predictive. But this step to transfer these funds, that's the next critical step in this process. Obviously, we want to get these Americans home as soon as possible. We believe we're working and we're on track to do that in the very near future. But in terms of giving you an actual date or on the calendar or when that would happen, certainly vis-a-vis the General Assembly next week in New York, I'm just not able to do that. But we are working it, Andrea. We're working it very, very hard.
The U.S. has also agreed to turn over to Iran 5 Iranians who are being held in jail in the U.S. What kind of offenses were those people convicted of?
Well, again, this is all part of the arrangement, and we're not done with it yet. It hasn't all been consummated. So again, I want to be very careful here about how much I say. But I think in most cases, you're talking about folks that were involved in sanctions evasion, that kind of thing. But again, we need to really get a little bit further on in the process here before we can get too specific about all the parameters of every exchange.
Do you have any concerns about the tone of President Raisi's interview today on some of these tough issues? Because things had been moving towards a possible warming in that there have been no attacks by Iranian-backed forces for more than a year now against Americans in the region, in Syria and Iraq and in the region. And perhaps with that cooling, they could begin to talk about other things. They've already supposedly agreed in the last month to put a hold on further enrichment at a higher weapons grade level. They're at 60, but not to 90, where it begins to be enough for a nuclear weapon.
Well, all of what you said is still the case. There haven't been any recent attacks on our American forces in Iraq or Syria. They did claim to be making some decreases in their uranium enrichment, which is all to the good. And we are still on track, as I said earlier, to get these Americans home. We're going to be very careful what we say publicly here, because that's what matters. The only thing that matters is getting those Americans home to their families. So we're going to be careful how much we telegraph publicly here about motivations of the other side. Again, I can't explain why the president spoke in such the strident terms that he did with Lester. He'll have to answer to that. All I can tell you is we're working hard to get these Americans home. And the other thing that it was important to remember, Andrea, is that we're not trying to drive at some rapprochement with Iran right now. We still are holding Iran accountable for the way they're treating their people back home, the protesters. We're still holding them accountable for the attacks on maritime shipping, for providing drones to Russia in Ukraine, and for their support to terrorist networks throughout the region. All of this bad behavior is still going on, and we are still working very hard to hold them accountable for that as well.